watching AYV Television.
From our broadcasting house here on Wesley Street in Sierra Leone's capital, Freetown, this is Primetime News on AYV Television and Radio. You're watching us on channel 33 and listening to us on frequency modulation 101.7. I am Phoebe Swale. Let's start with tonight's headlines. Following a violent incident that erupted in Kailaon, leaving one man dead and triggering unrest, the Sierra Leone Police Force affirms that calm has been restored in the town. The Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice and partners hold a public education session on improved access to intellectual property registration systems. And we will hear more from the newly elected chairman of the Coalition for Change Party on the just concluded national officers' elections. Hello again and welcome from wherever you're joining me from tonight. First in the news. In Sierra Leone's 2018 general elections, the Coalition for Change, popularly known as C4C, emerged as the country's third political force, riding on the political influence of former Vice President Chief Alhaji Samuel Samsumana. The party won 8 parliamentary seats, secured the mayoralty of Koidu City, and became the dominant political voice in Kono District. But what followed was a turbulent chapter. Some political analysts believe that internal divisions, protracted legal battles, leadership disputes, and the cancellation of several planned conventions plunged the party into uncertainty. This morning on Wake Up Sierra Leone, Victor Jones and Alimatu George engaged the party's newly elected chairman, Alusain McFoy, and its public relations officer and legal advisor, Kevin Albert Metziger, to examine whether this conference marks the beginning of a genuine political revival. Let's get the highlight.
A lot of the wranglings, and in the end we were proved right, because those people who came for themselves left and went somewhere else, and those people who were there for this republic are still here, and this is us. It's a learning process. We got into politics with our hearts and our minds, and we had a singular goal. That goal is for the betterment of this republic, and that hasn't changed. I cannot, and we cannot, I think Kevin would say, speak for himself, have any regrets about fighting for this republic, fighting for its people, making sure that my children, our children, their children have a country that they can inherit that is better. That is a fight worth fighting for, and that is what living for. So I have no regrets, and I'll absolutely have no regrets going through that process over again. If I have to do it 1,000 times, I'll do it 1,000 times.
We'll go back to section 39, and of course 39 to actually outline the do's and don'ts from the membership of political parties. And the insertion of the word profane simply, well, I'm not a lawyer. Okay. Really, I cannot give a legal interpretation to it, but as an administrator, in the instance, profane actually refers to wordings that are not really suitable to the hearings of others, and talks about wordings that are really not decent, you know, to actually speak on. So that's the context, and it's provided for as a prohibition.
During the opening of the Banff district office, you know, of the SLPP, the chairman did remark or say, no APC, no APC. How does the commission describe such a statement?
Yes, we actually we listened to that particular clip, listened to the citations, and we did not find anything that is actually really culpable or that is worth to say that there is a contravention of the provisions of Section 39. Absolutely none. It's in the realms of politics. Political players are actually free to express themselves. For example, I can say my opponents are disorganized. That is not profane. Probably it's just an expression to say that, in my estimation, they are not.
Australian police, via their press statement, informs the public that they have arrested and detained 25 suspects in connection with the alleged homicide, public disorder and arson following a violent incident that erupted on Sunday 21st June 2026, leaving one man dead and triggering unrest that resulted in attacks on police facilities. Now, the police say through their presser, they affirmed that calm has been restored in Kailaung and normalcy has been returned to the township, noting that they remain committed to conducting a free, fair, transparent and impartial investigation into all aspects of the incident. The Sierra Leone Police appeals to members of the public to assist investigations with any relevant information that may lead to the identification of perpetrators of the aforesaid fracas. Report says the death of Abdullahi Kalon as victim of the violence sparked widespread anger, particularly among members of the Kailaung District Bike Riders Union, having revealed that the deceased was once a member of their union. According to the union district chairman, Saidu Dabo, reports from some of his members alleged that police officers were amongst those involved in the mob action against the deceased, their member. These allegations fueled tension and led to spontaneous protests by aggrieved youth and bike riders. Still in the news, as Sierra Leone still continues to initiate legal reforms and tackle the impeding challenges that surround intellectual property rights, the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, in collaboration with the Office of the Administrator and Registrar General and the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization, held a sensitization workshop aimed at promoting the use of ARIPO's online services. The initiative seeks to improve access to intellectual property registration systems and strengthen awareness among key stakeholders on digital innovations in intellectual property administration. Let's hear from AYV's Ibrahim Ramadan Jallo.
The Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, in collaboration with the Office of the Administrator and Registrar General, has joined hands with the African Regional Intellectual Property Organization to organize an ARIPO online services sensitization workshop.
This morning to impart knowledge into us.
The initiative is aimed at strengthening awareness and improving the use of digital intellectual property services across the country.
I am glad to be here this morning at the opening of this very important workshop. And I want to start by commending the team at the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice and the Office of the Administrator and Registrar General as we partner with ARIPO in convening this timely and necessary gathering. At the outset, let me state why I consider this workshop very significant. It's not as a matter of protocol, but as a matter of genuine national interest. Intellectual property is no longer a peripheral concern for developing economies. It is a central pillar of how nations compete, how nations innovate, and how nations grow.
The workshop brings together legal practitioners, government officials, innovators, and stakeholders in the intellectual property sector. It focuses on educating participants on ARIPO's online platforms, designed to simplify the registration, protection, and management of intellectual property rights while enhancing efficiency and accessibility in service delivery.
Deliver these remarks at the ARIPO Online Services Sensitization Workshop for Sierra Leone. ARIPO remains firmly committed to working with its member states and stakeholders to advance the objectives for which the organization was established, in line with the broader aspirations of the African continent. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, allow me to acknowledge the Honorable Alpha Sise, Attorney General and Minister of Justice, for his steadfast support of the ARIPO Secretariat and for his continued commitment to strengthening the impact of the organization.
Officials say the sensitization program is part of a broader effort to modernize intellectual property, administration, and promote innovation-driven management. The collaboration is expected to boost regional cooperation, improve service delivery, and encourage creators and inventors to fully utilize Aripo's digital system for protecting their work. Ibrahim Ramadanjalo, AYV News, Freetown.
Aviation safety often depends on people we never see, the calm voice in the control tower, and the specialist monitoring systems. Today, Sierra Leone says it is investing in those people. The Sierra Leone Airports Authority has certified 10 air traffic control officers in aerodrome and approach control refresher training. 50 aeronautical and non-aeronautical personnel have also completed quality management system training. The program, delivered in partnership with the Ghana Aviation Training Academy, costs more than 150,000 United States dollars. Now, the investment comes as the global aviation industry faces growing pressure. Our reporter Sheku Mohammed Silla has more.
The airport is like an orchestrated passengers see the aircraft, but safety depends on the unseen conductors, air traffic control officers. The guide aircraft to takeoff, approach, and landing. Every instruction, clients, and decision sometimes in a matter of seconds. The International Civil Aviation ICAO says global aviation system depends on highly trained controllers because even minor errors can have more consequences. The general manager of Sierra Leone Airport Authority, Jack Masako, says the training underscores the urgency of strengthening air aviation service at Freetown International Airport. He says the certificates are more than pieces of paper. They are investment in safety and investment in confidence. He says the program also aligns with President Julius Maada Bio's emphasis on human capital development.
Send staff to the Ghana Training Academy to carry out a refresher training. In the air traffic control, after you have trained and qualified, they have a periodic interval that you should go back so that you can be reassessed on what you have already studied. Quality management system, which is very important in improving
Welcome back. This is Primetime News on AYV television and radio. Now, a free press is often described as the heartbeat of a democracy. But around the world, that heartbeat is growing weaker. According to Reporters Without Borders, global press freedom has fallen to its lowest level in decades, with more than half of the world's countries now operating in difficult or very serious media environments. In Sierra Leone, there has been progress. The country has climbed steadily on the World Press Freedom Index in recent years, following the repeal of the criminal libel law in 2020. Yet, journalists and media advocates say freedom on paper does not always translate into dignity in practice. Many journalists continue to grapple with low pay, poor working conditions, and limited social protection. Against that backdrop, journalists from across Sierra Leone have gathered in Freetown to discuss the future of press freedom and the welfare of media practitioners. Our reporter, Yero Jallo, was in attendance and she now reports.
At the CCSL Conference Hall, journalists gathered with a common purpose to strengthen journalism and improve the conditions under which journalists work. The one-day consultation was organized by the International Federation of Journalists, the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists, and the Sierra Leone Reporters Union. Discussions centered on media independence, safety, fair treatment, and professional development. Participants said many journalists remained outside social protection schemes. Others work without sick pay, maternity benefits, or adequate job security. The International Federation of Journalists says protecting journalists' rights is essential to protecting journalism itself.
From our experience, the things that need to happen to take us from the situation we're in now to where we want to go. First of all, collectively, journalists in Sierra Leone need to recognise the value of their work. I think it was the moderator who said, you're the front line of journalism. That is true. You're the heartbeat of democracy, the ears, eyes and voice of citizens, key to development, and it's your work that enables your owner to have a voice or to have a business. Yet almost everywhere you are undervalued, and it's time. The first step is to say we recognise the value of the work we do and we want to be properly paid for that work. So there can be no excuse for any employer to pay below the minimum wage and not to pay a fair day's pay for a fair day's work.
Journalism is often the lamp carried into society's darkest corners, but a lamp cannot burn brightly if the hand holding it is unsteady. The president of the Sierra Leone Reporters Union said improving journalist welfare is inseparable from strengthening democracy. She noted that journalists can only effectively hold power to account when they are protected and supported.
A difficult challenge for us as reporters is a poor condition, is a poor working condition, and also the payments. Most of us, we know how they pay. Some of us, we are poorly paid. Some of us are not even paid. And that has been one of the challenges, because we work, they are not paying assets for us. Because when they are not paying assets for us, sometimes the challenge, I sometimes tell my colleague that we too, we have to be serious with our own issue. We as reporters, we have to take ourselves serious.
The president of Sierra Leone Association of Journalists also reaffirmed his commitment to pursuing stronger protections and improved standards across the profession.
And the AGA again emphasized government commitments, particularly in the area of the Bill of Rights. They are proposing to have a Bill of Rights section in the new constitution, and then hopefully to have a standalone chapter on press freedom and freedom of expression. The reason why we are campaigning for that particular section is not new in Sierra Leone. We have other countries that also have similar provisions.
The engagement ended with calls for collective action and reforms to improve both press freedom and journalist welfare. For many here, the discussion was about more than salaries and conditions of service. It was about safeguarding the public's rights to know, because when journalism flourishes, democracy finds its voice, and when journalists are protected, society itself is strengthening. Yero Jallo, AYV News Freetown.
Well, this is Primetime News on AYV Television and Radio. I'll be back with more stories after this break. Please stay with me.
Do you know you can transfer money, buy airtime, and pay all your utility bills in just a minute? You can have access to your account anytime, anywhere. Welcome to the world of fast and easy. GT Wall. With the GT Wall, you can transfer money from one GT Co account to another, pay utility bills, get account statements, get airtime, and check your balance. With GT Wall, you can buy Etsa anytime, anywhere. You can go to App Store or Play Store on your iPhone and Android devices, download the app, and enjoy. GT Co. Wouldn't you rather bank with us?
Mutik. This one is for the bold ones. The people who shaped their world and the winners who still put in the work. Cheers to those who start great things. When you start, you're hard to stop. You raise your game and never back down because you're bold enough to make it. To you I say, never stop. Mutik, never stop starting.
All right, welcome back. This is Primetime News on AYV Television and Radio. I am Phoebian Sweel. Still in the news, a university degree was once seen as a passport to employment. Today, for many young people, it is merely the beginning of another search. Across the world, youth unemployment remains a stubborn challenge. The International Labour Organization estimates that nearly 65 million young people were unemployed globally in 2024. In Sierra Leone, the challenge is even more acute. According to the latest labour market data, nearly 7 out of every 10 Sierra Leoneans are under the age of 35, and youth unemployment and underemployment remain among the country's most pressing development concerns. At the Institute of Public Administration and Management, IPAM, hundreds of students have taken part in an entrepreneurship masterclass designed to transform job seekers into job creators. AYV's Issa Bangura has more.
Every year, young men and women leave lecture halls carrying degrees and dreams. Yet, many soon discover that the labor market has fewer doors than applicants. For some, graduation is not an arrival. It is a waiting room. Against this backdrop, IFI's Kuzi Corner, in partnership with the IPAM Entrepreneurship Center, brought together hundreds of students for a capacity-building masterclass on entrepreneurship. The objective was to encourage students to see problems not as barriers but as business opportunities.
The National University Tour basically is an awareness tool. We noticed that there's a gap between the academia and the corporate world, and we launched the National University Tour because we want to raise awareness about these gaps. We want to encourage students to develop their soft skills and also want to promote entrepreneurship education.
The World Bank estimates that sub-Saharan Africa will need to create millions of jobs annually to absorb its rapidly growing youth population. In Sierra Leone, the challenge is particularly urgent. The country has one of the youngest populations in the world. Economists say the future properties of the nation will depend largely on whether these young people become a demographic dividend or a demographic burden.
Before, I was finding it very difficult to know how to do savings or even be a student, how to be an entrepreneur. You cannot only focus on studying or focus on academic field, but being an entrepreneur through this session that we just had, it makes me know that you can always be a student, but you can be a student at the same time, you can be an entrepreneur too.
Human resource management.
Okay, so as a student, what does this public lecture mean to you people here today?
This public lecture means a lot to me because I've learned a lot, and especially when it comes to entrepreneurship. Yeah, because everything about entrepreneurship is about learning to create new ideas. So I've learned a lot.
Inside the hall, discussions centered on practical skills, how to build a business, how to save, how to manage money, how to brand an idea and turn it into an enterprise. Participants were encouraged to think creatively and identify challenges in their communities that could become opportunities for innovation and income generation.
When you have money, you want to do business, but you don't know which business you want to do. First, you have to do like you have to start and see what you're interested in. If you found what you're interested in, look for people who are talented in that area and find a way to mentor with them and do a proper arrangement. It's always, I think, not good to start a business that you don't have an idea about. You will not last long. So what I advise is expand your network. If you want to do business, look for people who are skilled, and then you start small. You learn the lessons and then you develop it.
So I'm encouraging all of us here to build up an habit of saving, because when you save today, it will save you a lot in the future. A lot. For you to start up your own business, for your retirement age, for buying what you think you need, to better your life in the future.
Facilitators also stress the importance of financial discipline because businesses, they said, are rarely built by inspiration alone. They are built through patience, consistency, and resilience. Students listened as entrepreneurs shared experiences of failure, risks, and eventual success. Issa Bangura, AYV News, Freetown.
Now, the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary School Education has announced a new date for the commencement of the 2026 Basic Education Certificate Examination, with the exams now set to begin on Monday, 6th July. The decision was made in collaboration with the West African Examinations Council to allow for the completion of key logistical and administrative arrangements. The ministry says the adjustment is intended to ensure a smooth, fair and well-organized examination process across the country. It has also assured parents, teachers, candidates and the general public of its commitment to a transparent examination process, with a full timetable and further updates to be communicated through official channels in the coming days. Meanwhile, some of the candidates anticipate an examination process for this year's education certification process. Still in the news, some voices refuse to fade. More than 2 decades after his tragic death at Lumley Beach in 2003, Sierra Leone's reggae legend Amara Kaba still lives on through the melodies he left behind and the messages that continue to inspire generations. His songs remain anthems of hope, justice and social consciousness, while his legacy continues to shape the country's musical identity. As fans and industry figures remember the man many call a pioneer of Sierra Leonean reggae, AYV's Ibrahim Ramadan Jallo looks back at the life and enduring influence of Amara Kaba.
You've got the power, the courage and experience. You've got to show it right across the globe. They say face your fears, only then it will go away.
After 23 years, the people of Sierra Leone are still confronting the death of the late reggae legend Amara Kaba.
Brands and recognition. We are not only here to mourn a loss, but to celebrate a life that continues to inspire generations through music.
Kaba, who tragically drowned at Lumley Beach in 2003, still lives in the hearts of many, even more than 2 decades since he journeyed to the great beyond by drowning. His legacy remains lush.
An artist. He was a messenger of truth, a cultural warrior, and a symbol of conscious resistance. Through his music, He spoke to the struggles, hopes, and identity of our people.
His powerful voice and inspiring lyrics remain a lasting symbol of his contribution to the nation's music landscape.
A hero, a transformer, a person who represented the voices of the voiceless, a person who represented the downtrodden, whose music resonated with all categories of society.
During his career, Amarakaba was widely admired for blending meaningful social messages with rhymes and sweet melody. His music addresses everyday struggles to build hope and unity, and in him a place in the hearts of many Sierra Leoneans.
Though the says we will tire while we are waiting. It's 23 years since Sierra Leone heard from its entertainment legend, Amarakaba. Today the nation pauses to reflect on its enduring legacy and revisiting its memories and lasting contributions he made to the country's entertainment industry. Waiting.
We are waiting. Even years after his untimely death, his songs continue to receive airplay and inspire a new generation of musicians who look up to his commitment to meaningful music.
Amarakaba was an icon and still remains to be an icon of this nation because he took reggae music beyond, far and wide. So we, as reggae musicians, we will always remember Amarakaba, and we make sure say Amarakaba in legacy live on and on and on and on and on.
His legacy continues to live on, reminding many of his influence, talent, and the mark he left in Sierra Leone music industry. For AYV News, Ibrahim Ramadan Jallo reporting.
Emmanuel Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, ever living, ever faithful, ever sure.
Well, that's all for Primetime News tonight. For more stories, please visit our website on www.ayvnews.com. If you have feedback on tonight's news, please send us an email to info@ayvnews.com. I am Phoebian Sweel. Thanks for watching and listening. Have a good night. Take care and bye for now.
You're watching AYV Television.
With Rocal Commercial Bank's SimCopper app, it's fast, safe and reliable.
Tired of standing in the queue? Do all your banking transactions with Rocal SimCopper without leaving your seat. Fast, safe and easy.
You can download the app from App Store or Play Store.
Star 919 hash with or without internet.
You can send e-copper to any mobile number.
Send and receive money instantly.
QR codes. You can take your business digital.
Across banks and mobile money accounts in Sierra Leone. Instant payment across Africa.
So, what are you waiting for? Download the SimCopper app now.
Rocal SimCopper. Banking on the go.